Hello and welcome to another Cyber Squad gaming video. Today we're playing the My Team mode in F1 2020, and you join us for the first race of the season. We're here in Australia for the race in Albert Park in Melbourne, and we can't wait to get started. We don't really know what to expect, but after free practice we feel if lucky, we might just make it into Q2. So as we come around the hairpin to start our first proper lap of the Q1 session, we're full of high hopes that if we can string together this lap, we'll be in good shape. For this My Team, we've selected Mick Schumacher as our teammate. So as we come down the start-finish line, the last one we wanted to see was him being released in our quali lap. I think after the race, his team owner is going to have some serious words with his mechanics and his engineers to figure out how this happened. However, as you can see, we managed to catch him in a good spot and only slightly had to lift off the throttle as we came out of the corner and avoided a pretty major collision that would have been a terrible start to our F1 My Team. As we rounded the last corner again, this time at the end of the lap, we had done our job, P6, for the moment, and eventually P10 in Q1. We could now look to our Q2 showdown, punching above our budget already in the hot Melbourne sun. Now that we'd entered Q2, we had to attack. We had to give it all that we could to try and make it out of this qualifying. So for fresh tyres, we had a poor first lap, only ending up P8. So straight back into the pits, another set of fresh tires, and out we go again. This time, we managed to put in some great sectors and really fly around the course. We managed to go purple, green, and then green again to have one hell of a lap to try and squeeze in through Q2. I was happy with the team's qualifying performance. We managed to get P11 and P20, and I don't think that's too bad for our first race. There wasn't much more in the car, and the fact that Mike qualified down in 20th shows that we outperformed the car with the P11. The aim now has to turn to the points in this race. With such a long season, they're all going to count, and with this track being flat for over 70% of the track, our Renault engine is probably going to struggle, so proper use of the boost out of the corners as defending is going to be key to our success here. I decided to start the race on the soft tyre, with the hope that I could nab a couple of places, get a good bit of speed up, trying to defend and push people back, and then come in for the long stint at the end. So we're going to see how that strategy plays out. And as we wait for the lights to turn green, we're just hoping for a great start. And there's wheel spin from Ricciardo in front, and the Force India's got a poor getaway, so soon we're nabbing two places quickly off the start, and all of a sudden this decision to take red tyres, the super softs, made sense. But there's contact between Albon and Albon. Now we're being pushed into Ricciardo and there's contact. We're not really making great progress because all of a sudden we've been forced back. Now we're wheel to wheel with the Force India into this turn as we try and hang out the outside as other cars lock up around us. We bump wheels, but we manage to just stay ahead. We are going to be the slower car. We have to make sure we stay in the tow, we keep in line, and we take any opportunity we can to just make a pass. So as we come to the end of the first lap, we've managed to keep up with the cars in front. Norris was in our striking distance, and we managed to get some amazing traction out that last hairpin. So now we have the opportunity to try and slip up the inside and try and take him in the drag. And we've got so much more traction and so much more slipstream that we're able to pull alongside, and not only that, get back in before the corner, not compromising our first corner. And we're straight after Ricciardo. Ricciardo's our next target. And as we head into his slipstream, we're thinking, can we possibly get really late on the brakes and make an audacious move? But instead, it's all about just sticking with it. As we came round for the third lap, we'd closed the gap on Ricciardo. We felt he was in striking distance, so we lined him up. We went for a late break on the late breaker himself, but we just banged wheels. We couldn't get it done. We didn't have enough time to get that straight to get the speed we needed. And we got all out of shape in the process. So now we had to just concentrate, get back behind Ricciardo, and set ourselves up for another attempt at a pass. And we didn't have to have long before we could have another go at him. In the fourth lap, he locked up his tires going into the first turn. And we were quick on the power, almost too quick. We ran us almost into the back of him. But we decided to hang out, see if we could go around the outside, switch at the inside, but there wasn't room, and we weren't going to risk it this time. We didn't want to get out of shape. So we decided to slip back in behind him, build up for a proper attack, and wait for our opportunity to really give it to Ricciardo and take that 8th position. It took until the 5th lap and a great second sector in order to get into Ricciardo's tow. But as we approached the hairpin on the very last corner of the lap, we're just thinking let's dive up the inside and give it a go, which we do, pushing Ricciardo wide on the exit and forcing him all out of shape. hoping that Norris can then hold him back into a fight. We chase after Sainz, thinking, right, we're in the points now. So as we start the 6th lap of this race, we start to see Albon and Sainz fighting it out. And you can see them going wheel to wheel, one going around the outside. They're both losing tremendous amount of time, so we quickly made up a couple of seconds on this pair. Now Albon is behind Sainz and he was overtaken, so we managed to get into the toe of Albon, thinking if these two keep fighting, maybe we can drag it out to the end. But actually, we've been making up such good middle sectors, we decided to just go for Albon around the outside of the next corner. So laid on the brakes, drift out to the right, and we got better traction out of that corner. Then it was all about, could we take it bravely, could we hang out on the outside, and could we make this pass stick? So not only do we make this pass stick, you can see how far Sainz moved ahead in that time. So Albon must be really wearing his tires out at this point in the race. So on we go and up into P8. So we decided to take it and run long. We thought we could try and get a little bit more performance out of the softs, but in reality, coming in on lap 8, we left it a little too long. But as we came in for our one pit of the race, going to a fresh set of medium compound tires, we knew we were going to rejoin about where we ended up. And for just a little bit, this brand new Viper team got to run P1 for a section of the race. So, quick set of tires, and out we go. Ready to race, ready to get back into the action. As we exit the pits, we find Norris is a lot closer, and therefore we really have to put our foot down. But we're on a cold set of mediums, and he's on those nice warm mediums, which he's got a lap of bedding in. As we head down to that hairpin, we're just thinking, don't dive up the inside, that's our move, don't take our move. But he stayed back, we managed to dip inside, and as we started to put heat in our tires, we really could put the power down and really start to open up our lead, knowing that we were faster than Norris throughout most of this race. As we entered the midway part of this race, we could see, sitting comfortably in 9th, that Albon was 2.3 seconds ahead, with Sainz a further 3.6 up the road. So the real gamble now was, could we reel them in? Could we take the fight to them? Did we have the pace to really chase a Red Bull that was on the charge? But we stuck with it, and lap after lap, we tried to make progress. Lap 10, we'd closed 3/10 off the time, but we'd gained 7/10 on Sainz, so we were wondering, is it possible that Albon and I could both catch Sainz? On lap 12, Albon has taken Sainz, and we're sitting here going, we're really reeling Sainz in. So let's forget about Albon, and let's see if we can get Sainz. Let's see if we can get that 8th place. A P8 would be a brilliant result for Viper Team, especially on its first outing. So as we set apart our task of really getting in, we said, if we can just get one straight in the next 3 laps, P8 could be ours. Throughout this Melbourne GP, we've continually tried to take an inside line on that hairpin, and it never seems like enough room. But being super fast in the middle sector, we made sure we didn't get out of line and just hunted Sainz down. The aim was to try and line him up for the back straight, but given the fact we were so close and our traction was so good, we had an opportunity to go early. And in a really unconventional spot, we tried to go around the outside before switching back to the inside, laid on the brakes and really forcing him wide. It was an aggressive maneuver that allowed us to get the outside line to really put the advantage on. Now, we have Albon ahead, but given Albon's speed and the pace of that Red Bull, it was unrealistic that we were going to catch him. But we were satisfied that if we could just stay where we are, keep Sainz behind, we would have successfully got great points for Viper Racing. As we entered the last couple of corners of this first GP, we thought we'd done a good job. P8 for Viper Racing on its first outing is a hell of a result. We far outperformed our teammate, and we managed to keep Sainz behind for the closing stages of the Grand Prix. Now, could we build on this result? Could we take this further? Could we achieve more as a team on our first season? Should we be targeting points every race? These were the questions we found ourselves thinking about. But as the laps and the tracks get harder, and the tracks become more turn-based and downforce-based, we're probably going to struggle. Melbourne is such a power circuit that allowed us to just rely on the engine, be ultra-aggressive and ultra-defensive when we needed to be, to achieve the result that we wanted. Thank you very much for tuning into this Cyber Squad gaming video. We're going to be doing a series of these Let's Plays F1 2020 My Team. We're going to see how Viper Team evolves over the course of this first season. And now it's on to Bahrain to see if we can get another set of great points and keep us charging on strong this season.
They certainly deserve it.